The green flag enthusiastically waves. We are racing here in the heart of Hungary.
Hugo Saris gets a tremendous launch off the line, instantly demoting Born to 7th.
Kita senses blood in the water. He dives on Born, who stubbornly fights back.
Kita just had better traction through that phase, beautifully slotting himself ahead for that 7th spot.
Puppy Javi has spun, yellow flags wave. Born opportunistically steals 6th.
Brands tries a late lunge, but Born defends.
Caballero sneaks right through the chaos, snatching 6th position away from a flustered Born. Born and Caballero are absolutely side by side.
Born is tucking right into the slipstream of Caballero. The aerodynamic draft is so powerful here in these Miatas. He is biding his time, waiting for the optimal moment to pull out.
We are hearing some utterly bizarre radio traffic coming from Born's cockpit. He keeps repeatedly thanking someone named Gestation Greg for defensive tips. Who on earth is Gestation Greg, I wonder?
We checked. Astoundingly, Greg is the twin brother that Daniel absorbed in the womb.
Mora attacks. He throws it down. The inside of Born sparking a frantic battle.
Mora brilliantly completes the move for 7th, but look at this. They are still side by side. Born is refusing to yield the racing line. That absorbed twin must be giving him incredible spatial awareness because he is leaving exactly 1 car width no more.
Contact! Born picks up an incident point. He is pushing the absolute boundaries of physics and biology out there. The atmosphere is so thick, you could shatter it with a wheel nut.
Born's team claims Greg survived as a phantom consciousness and is actually helping him shift gears perfectly. As a driver, I can tell you that is frankly the most absurd excuse.
The entire paddock is completely dumbfounded by this revelation. Rival team principals are storming up and down. The pit lane is a spiritually absorbed twin considered a legal spotter under the current FIA sporting regulations. We are genuinely venturing into the absolute twilight zone of modern motorsport competition here today, Jolyon.
Born gets another incident point. Meanwhile, Ipequito Carlos is looming dangerously in his mirrors.
Lap 1 is in the history books. Daniel Born crosses the line to commence the 2nd tour, dragging a literal lifetime of sibling rivalry around this incredibly iconic Hungarian racetrack. Carlos seizes the moment and blitzes past Born for 8th, but Born is furiously fighting back with the sheer, unadulterated fury of 2 separate souls occupying a single, incredibly stressed racing seat.
The other teams, understandably, fuming. Ipequito Carlos just aggressively radioed in, complaining bitterly about what he calls illegal psychic team orders. You can see why they are frustrated. Born is reacting to moves before they even happen. The telemetry must look completely unhinged. I have never, in all my years of racing, seen a driver utilize intraterrene telepathy to defend corners.
Moving slightly further up the road, Caballero is applying monumental pressure on Danny Brands for 5th. Caballero has firmly planted himself right in the crucial aerodynamic slipstream of the leading car.
The stewards are absolutely baffled by this unfolding drama. The technical rulebook says absolutely nothing about amniotic co-drivers assisting a primary driver during a live session. How do you regulate a ghost twin? They must be frantically flipping through the sporting code in race control now.
Egbers boldly attacks Xavi, but Javi fiercely defends.
Egbers brilliantly executes the overtake on Javi at turn 8, but Javi refuses to yield. They remain completely side by side. It is a fantastic display of mutual respect and car control through this very tricky technical section.
Georges User masterfully leads the pack, followed by Foldy and Anderson. Brands, Caballero and Kerwin chase. Mora holds 7th. Born sits 9th. Gruby struggles near the back, and Voshko remains distant 21st.
Furious competitors are now officially demanding that Born be weighed twice on the scales to account for Greg. This is creating absolute chaos in race control. From an engineering standpoint, extra ethereal weight changes the entire balance of the chassis. Do you penalize him for an underweight car or applaud him for extreme weight saving tactics today?
Born crosses the timing beam, officially commencing lap 3. He is locked in a fierce, desperate battle with Kita haunting his gearbox just 2 tenths behind for that crucial 10th position. The margin for error is absolutely non-existent.
Kita sweeps past Born at turn 1, incredibly.
Eric Howie instantly attempts to mug Born, but Born robustly defends his precious 10th.
Born is smartly using Kita's slipstream to defend his current position.
Howie dives again at turn 2. But Born emphatically denies him. They are running wheel to rim into the braking zone, neither man willing to yield an inch of tarmac. Bourne phenomenally swoops around the outside of Kita for 9th at turn 2. That is a breathtaking maneuver. They are going toe-to-toe into the absolute vortex of danger here today.
Further ahead, we have a fantastic battle. Carlos brilliantly lunges past Cohen for 6th place at turn 5. He kept the car beautifully balanced through that tricky off-camber apex right down there.
Bourne just executed that spectacular overtake on Kita while completely letting go of the steering wheel. It is utterly outrageous. The audacity of the man. He is mocking the entire grid today.
He just stated on the radio that Greg took over the steering for that specific corner. The rest of the grid is absolutely losing their minds over this. Unprecedented psychological warfare indeed.
Kita is screaming hysterically on the team radio. He swears blind that Bourne visibly possessed 3 arms during that maneuver. The stewards are facing an existential crisis of truly epic proportions.
Bourne continues his march forward. He clinically dispatches Jose Mora at turn 12 to claim 8th position. He had the overspeed and just confidently placed his car exactly where it mattered.
Mora has just been passed and looks utterly terrified inside his cockpit. He just keyed his radio to frantically declare that he clearly saw 2 distinct faces staring back at him through Bourne's visor. This is spiraling into glorious, unparalleled motorsport madness today. Bourne crosses the line once more. He begins lap 4. The spectacle is mesmerizing and the sheer pace of this man, or rather men, is setting the timing screens completely ablaze today.
The distraction is causing massive track chaos right now. Fellow drivers are noticeably rubbernecking at Bourne's cockpit instead of focusing on their braking markers. It is an incredibly dangerous cascading effect.
Puppy Javi incredibly sweeps past Mora for 16th place. They are running totally parallel. Mora is fighting tooth and nail to reclaim his fiercely contested position.
The drivers are literally driving themselves completely off the circuit out of sheer, unadulterated frustration over this entire twin situation. Their focus is entire twin situation.
Jose Mora is painfully slow through the chicane. Treutiger relentlessly flashes past. Mora has tragically steered his car into the pit lane, pulling the curtains down on a truly nightmare race today.
Mora has completely retired his car in pure disgust. He furiously declared that racing against a parasitic, gear-shifting twin is fundamentally unsporting and a complete mockery of traditional driver weight limits.
Incredible drama. We are receiving frantic reports that the FIA is hastily drafting a brand new one sole per chassis technical regulation. Right this very second, they are desperately trying to close this unprecedented biological loophole. You can absolutely drown in the sheer theatricality of it all right now. Bourne crosses the timing line to thunderously begin lap 6. This absolutely relentless march towards the front is deeply terrifying for his rivals. He is driving like a man possessed, or perhaps quite literally inhabited by a secondary consciousness today.
Bourne brilliantly dives past Kenny Kerwin for 7th at turn 1. He decisively positioned the car on the optimal line, leaving Kerwin absolutely no room to mount a counter-attack.
Further back, Tim Marshall is aggressively locked onto the rear bumper of Nick Wagner. They are fighting fiercely over 11th place now.
Marshall gets a phenomenal tow and pulls completely alongside Wagner as they barrel into turn 2. They are wheel to wheel and Marshall boldly claims 11th. He absolutely maximised the braking potential of his Mazda there, forcing Wagner to concede the apex. Fantastic aggressive driving from Marshall to seize that heavily contested midfield racing position right now.
But Wagner absolutely refuses to back down. He spectacularly throws his car down the inside at turn 5 to instantly snatch 11th back from Marshall. They are fiercely trading blows like heavyweights. This is an utterly titanic squabble in the depths of the pack, proving that every single inch of this circuit is fiercely contested right now.
User comfortably leads Boldy and Anderson. Caballero sits 4th ahead of Carlos and Brands. Bourne has phenomenally climbed to 7th. Kerwin, Kita and Iwi complete the current top 10 racing standings today.
Bourne is relentlessly slicing through the field gestation. Greg is undeniably proving to be a phenomenally astute tactical co-driver. They are a formidable, albeit highly controversial, force of competitive nature out there.
The synergy between the two is genuinely flawless. They possess 2 minds functioning inside one body, effectively tearing through this Hungarian track with absolute mechanical precision.
Yellow flags wave frantically. Adri Caballero has spun at turn 15. Bourne mercilessly capitalizes on the massive mistakes to effortlessly steal 6th place. The green flags proudly return as the dust finally settles down here. Bourne fires his Mazda across the start-finish straight to commence lap 7. The momentum is heavily stacked in his favor. He is absolutely feasting on the fear of his rivals right now.
Caballero claims he went off because Greg telepathically forced him into a braking error. Whether you believe in the paranormal or not, the intimidation factor is causing very real driver mistakes today.
This psychological warfare is utterly unmatched in racing history. Half the grid is petrified to even attempt to pass on Bourne. They are jumping at completely invisible psychic shadows today.
Bourne is now directly behind Danny Brands for 6th place. The gap is a minuscule 0.16 seconds. He is right in his racing mirrors.
Bourne dramatically lunges at Brands into turn 4. Brands desperately defends. Bourne tucks back into the slipstream. This is a high-speed game of cat and mouse on the very edge right now.
Danny Brands is weaving wildly on the straights, actively trying to break what he believes is Greg's psychic draft. It is an absolutely unbelievable display of completely unconventional defensive driving tactics today.
I cannot believe my ears. Bourne has just calmly instructed his pit wall that Greg is demanding significantly softer anti-roll bars for the very next race, the audacity to discuss setup changes with a ghost twin mid-corner today.
Back in 8th, Keita is haunting Kerwin. The gap is just over 2/10 as they approach the heavy braking zone now.
Keita valiantly dives alongside Kerwin. They are fiercely wheel to wheel. Kerwin fights back with venomous intent, refusing to surrender 7th place without an absolutely massive struggle. Breathtaking close quarters combat today.
Kerwin is now complaining that an invisible hand reached out of Bourne's passing window to flip him off earlier. The collective paranoia currently gripping this grid is unlike anything ever witnessed before.
Stewards are desperately reviewing the onboard cameras. There is reportedly a strange, unexplained fleshy bulge visibly moving around inside Bourne's fireproof racing suit. Now,
Bourne rockets across the line to start lap 8. He is driving with the fury of 1,000 supernovas. You could light a small city with the electrical tension crackling here today.
Official word from race control has arrived. They state they fundamentally cannot penalize a biological anomaly under current regulations. Therefore, there will be no black flag issued to Daniel Bourne here today.
Astounding, Bourne and Greg are officially cleared to race to the checkered flag together.
Bourne is now trailing Brands by just 3/10. He is setting up his final attack. The car looks perfectly balanced, perhaps aided by his incredibly unique internal weight distribution strategy today.
This phenomenal dual-brain driver is absolutely giving Brands terrifying nightmares on this final lap. Brands is checking his mirrors frantically, unsure if he is defending against a man or a ghost today.
Bourne remains right on the gearbox of Brands, hovering at that 3/10 gap. Brands is doing everything in his power to defend the racing line. The pressure must be immense, knowing you are essentially racing against a supernatural tag team in a single car right now.
As we glance at the final standings, Shaw's user masterfully controls the lead from Foldy and Anderson. Carlos Brands and the infamous Daniel Bourne follow closely. Keita, Aoi, Kerwin and Caballero round out the top 10. What a truly mesmerizing, reality-bending race this has become today.
The gap has slightly closed to 0.27 seconds. Bourne is perfectly poised. He is extracting every single fraction of grip from those tires for this ultimate overtaking attempt.
Bourne throws it down the inside. They are absolutely side by side into the final corners. Brands fiercely resists, refusing to succumb to the phantom pressure. They cross the line locked together. But meanwhile, Shaw's user takes a phenomenal victory. An utterly dominant drive from user amidst the most spectacularly bizarre racing circumstances imaginable here, right now.
Bourne incredibly picks up a late incident point during that frantic final corner scrap.
Daniel Bourne crosses the line to remarkably claim 6th, a truly unforgettable paranormal performance.